So I would just tell a lot of people what you're going through. Just write it down, write all your feelings down, write all your emotions down, write everything down, get it out of your system. Your system doesn't need to be dealing with past emotions. If you're living in the past, you'll stay there. Um, you can't change the past. You could only change today. You can't even step into tomorrow. You have to sleep through today. So stop worrying about tomorrow. Forget about yesterday and live in this present moment, because it's in this present moment that you can make all sorts of changes. And that's what this is all about, is really staying focused in the present moment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. The purpose of the show is to help you realize that you are not alone and that you are in control of your life. It doesn't matter where you came from or what your circumstances are. We've all experienced pain, suffering, hurt, abandonment, loneliness, and hopelessness. This show is here to help you turn those dark moments around and create a whole new you. Despite your success, have you felt lonely, angry, frustrated, or even suicidal? Do you long to be supported, recognized, and respected for who you are and not just the awards and accolades on your walls? You don't want to be known, identified, or remembered in a way that feels fraudulent because you received things out of obligations and not passion. Do you find yourself sitting quietly at lunch, listening to what lights you up, only to feel shame, fear, frustration, and resentment? Your inner turmoil and limiting beliefs surface, making you feel not good enough and afraid of doing something different. You've read the books, attended the seminars, and practiced new concepts and principles, yet you still find yourself in the same rut. The lies you tell yourself perpetuate a cycle of disappointment. You say you'll change, but your self limiting beliefs keep running the show, creating a self fulfilling prophecy. As a certified coach, I empower you to become your authentic self. My Soul Journey program aligns you with your true self and guides you to find your soul vision, helping you discover your purpose in life. I provide tools to step into your true magnificence and remember who you are. If you're interested in learning more, contact me at Brave TV at KathleenMFlanagan.com. Each week, I start the show with the sound of the tuning forks, bringing in love, happiness, and balance to set the tone for the show and myself, the show, and to bring out the best in myself and my guests. So let's begin. I was supposed to have Zak on the show today, and she's not here yet. I'm not sure what's going on. I have reached out to her, so if she does come on, oh, never mind. I'm going to read her bio. She made it in. Zak Lioutas is a multidimensional being that has experienced life differently. Since the age of 3, she has had many encounters with spirit and not all pleasant ones. You may hear her say some people watch horror movies, others live them. Zak lived them. In 1997, Zak went through a thyroid cancer and her first massive spiritual awakening. From going through many ups and downs in life and experiencing depression more times than she wants to admit, Zak has always found herself going back to her truth, to where the most happiness was found. As a galactic elder, master key holder, 12 strain activator, soul activator, and Jesus loving human, Zak has the pleasure of bringing many through a journey of inner self discovery, conquering both past and present lives to heal the present and the future self. Today, Zak finds pleasure in guiding women through the process of spiritual awakening, serving the truth, and finding humor throughout the way. Spiritual awakening shouldn't be painful, but it's about becoming mindful and cultivating the light from the darkness of life into something more pleasant for the soul. Zak runs the bold, fierce, unstoppable woman's inner circle, as well as hosts messages from the other side live events. Welcome, Zak.
Hello, welcome. Thank
Hello.
you for having me.
Oh, I read your old bio because I couldn't find the other one. I think the little demon Marco, he has fun with papers, and I think it got lost somewhere.
Well, it is what it is, what it
I
has to
know,
be.
right? So I have to get your bio, update your bio again since it's all messed up again. But we're going out for whatever reason in a whole new way. 2024 is coming to an end. The holidays are upon us. Life is good, all is well. And we have the 6 planets that are coming into alignment. And I found out, I think it's February 28th, Mercury joins the lineup for a little while. So we got some big changes coming in.
Yeah, 2025 is all about change, and it's just really about expanding your energetic frequency. And for those that have started expanding and those that are in it, they're going to see some serious changes and see their dreams come to reality in 2025. Excuse me, I think I'm going through a serious healing crisis. I have a fever going on. I'm freezing right now.
Oh,
So, yeah,
well, you
there's a
look
lot.
good.
Oh, thank you. I don't feel very hot right now, but we'll make it through another hour of life. Mhm. So
I
yeah,
hear
we have
you.
some good things happening in 2025. You just have to hold your loins and stay focused and have the right people around you and surround yourself with pure love, but also remember there's boundaries and to really understand your boundaries and to practice your boundaries because 2025 is going to be that time where you're going to have to use your voice if you want to attract the things that you want to attract. Having these planets come into alignment is really about you coming into alignment with your truth. So get true, get real with yourself is what I want to say. Get real with your spiritual foundation, get real with your truth, get real with your authenticness because I felt these effects in the last month, and I'm right now feel I just messaged my therapist. I'm like, am I supposed to be going through a fever, experiencing this feeling that I went through yesterday? And I don't know, but I can't keep my eyes open right now, and I feel so cold. So there is something going on energetically within me, and the more that you start allowing for the healing process of the past to leave you, it's going to leave you. Stop fighting resistance. And that's a big thing. If you fight resistance, you're going to resist a lot of great things that are supposed to come into alignment with you.
Well, I'm feeling exactly what you're saying because Sunday I went to a Christmas party and I didn't eat that much, but boy, Sunday night my stomach just was not a happy camper. And it
Mhm.
was burning all the way out and it was just like nonstop. And I'm thinking, am I going through some sort of a healing crisis? Today I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning because Sal was making all this noise, and I'm sitting on the couch trying to get things done because I have to do a training on January 4th. So I'm trying to put it together, and I could barely keep my eyes open. And then
Mhm.
my stomach is acting up again, and I'm thinking, do I have a bug? So I get it. And the wind is blowing like crazy out here in Colorado. And I don't like when the wind blows. And I know it's the winds of change and it's getting rid of all the cobwebs in my brain because it feels like that. I feel like I can't get my head on straight. I've been saying that, like, I got to get my head back on straight because I feel like I'm floundering and discombobulated. I'm peaceful and I'm okay. It's just there's things going on that I can feel that I'm not quite sure what it is, and I'm assuming that it's the prelude of what's coming, and I'm getting my body prepared for it.
Oh yeah, preparation's been going on for about 2 months for me right now. So I'm in the second month of preparing my body for 2025, and it hasn't been an easy journey, I'll tell you that much right now. But a lot of things that have been coming to me is things that I also had to write off or write down. I shouldn't say write, I mean write off, I write down.
That's
Oh,
not me.
sorry. No, it's
Here comes a message.
yeah. So there's I would just tell a lot of people what you're going through. Just write it down, write all your feelings down, write all your emotions down, write everything down, get it out of your system. Your system doesn't need to be dealing with past emotions. If you're living in the past, you'll stay there. Um, you can't change the past, you could only change today. You can't even step into tomorrow. You have to sleep through today. So stop worrying about tomorrow, forget about yesterday, and live in this present moment, because it's in this present moment that you can make all sorts of changes. And that's what this is all about, is really staying focused in the present moment.
Well, I know I'm doing that. I had my marketing people. I Monday yesterday. I woke up. I felt great. And it was one thing after another of things that have popped up that should have been resolved 3 months ago that weren't resolved, things that were just wrong with what happened with the marketing company. And I lit a fire under everybody's butt because I was upset, and they're trying to make it right, and it's like, well, we promise we'll have it by Friday, and it's like, well, that's fine, but it's going to have to be for January now, not December, because they just totally ruined December for me on this launch date. But what I did though is I turned around and created a free webinar instead, like you and I talked about, and I have it all together. Now I just have to make it pretty.
So do you think they ruined December, or do you think maybe it wasn't time for you to have it in December because all's in divine timing?
It might be that, because this was planned since September to do this December 1st launch, a soft launch to my people. And then I figured, okay, let's try to get it by the 15th. And when I got everything that Friday, it just was wrong. Everything was wrong. So I know that's probably part of it, is that I needed to shift around a little bit, because again, we're still, and not that we're blaming Hermes, but the minor adjustment, it's
Don't
just the
blame Hermes
adjustment.
for the choices you've made and the problems you've created for yourself. Stop blaming Hermes, people.
I'm not blaming Hermes. I'm just saying I think what Hermes did was allow me to see that it was off. And I think that's part of it, because I was trying to get the marketing team to just say, I'm done. Just don't waste your time. And they want to make it right. So we'll see what they come up with. So maybe this will be an add-on to what I want to do. I don't know. I don't know anything right now, Zach. I'm just sitting here in the dark. I love when I'm in the dark, not, and I just have to trust the process. So I decided that I will do whatever I have to get done this week, and I'm taking the rest of the month off from, like, Friday, Saturday, whatever. I'm done for the year. And
This is
just
one
kind of get my head back on and just kind of settle and have some fun, because I
yeah.
don't feel like I've had fun lately.
Yeah, this is what I want to say to everyone, is that God doesn't have a time. His time is always the perfect time. It's just humans that have this time restraint for themselves. If Kathleen did something in September, October, and trying to get it out here by December, she's went through growth that she doesn't realize that has to go into that program. So because of all the changes that had to be made, it wasn't done on the 15th because you had to go through something. So I call that divine intervention and divine timing. Now we have something called emotional intelligence. It's how we use our emotions to redirect what we are doing with ourselves and to look a place within us. So this is one thing that I had to learn a few years ago, is emotional intelligence. And it was hard to go through emotional intelligence, spiritual maturity, because when you realize how mature you become spiritually, a lot of things don't bother you. You're almost like, you look at things and you're just like, it is what it is. I said I was going to go out there. It didn't go out there. However, I see some changes. So if you're going through something, like, we all experience these things. There's things that I was supposed to get done. There's things that I was supposed to do. All I said is, another one bites the dust. All right, wasn't meant to be. It's not going to happen. I don't have the bandwidth to make things happen right now. And that's when I get out of my way and allow God to lead the way. And that's one thing I noticed that a lot of people fight, is their own self. It's like, the devil's after me. And I'm like, no, honey, it's not the devil trying, it's you. So you are your own inner demon. So it's just God's just saying, like, take the time to see what you have, take the time to grow, take the time to shift through things. And the more that you look within yourself, and this work isn't easy, or else the whole world would be awake. And that's why people are where they are in their life. And the more that you go within yourself, and the more that you unravel parts of yourself, the more that you understand you won't waste your time with a lot of petty stuff, because that takes up so much of your energy, especially deadlines. One thing I've never in my life got so connected to, or, was deadlines. Or one thing in my life that I never really cared about was titles. I don't care what your title is. You could be CEO of whatever company you have. You could be a multi-gajillion. You could be whoever you are. Congratulations. But your titles do nothing for me. When you look at someone, does a title define them? So don't allow things to define who you are, especially in 2025. Allow your actions to define your truth.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Are you ready to step into your true potential? Kathleen Flanagan's Get Into Alignment session helps you break through blocks, balance your energy, and align with your highest self. Experience clarity, purpose, and flow like never before. Visit KathleenMFlanagan.com and unlock the power of living in alignment today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. And I have Zak Lioutas in the room with us. And we are talking about the up-and-coming changes and being very focused on yourself and knowing, just trusting. And I think when you were talking, there was something that came up as well as, I'm like you, I don't usually put deadlines on, but when you got this focus, and I think I just had to realize it's just time to ease up. It's like, I feel like I'm in this pregnant pause, like I want to birth this baby already. And it's like, what am I not seeing? And I just, God, it's not that you're not seeing anything. It's just not time yet. It's just, you got to be a little bit more patient, just have a little bit more fun, enjoy the season. And I think when we're trying to birth something, I think we get really anal about it. And I always know when I've had experiences like this, because this is not the first or second time go around on this. I've had these a few times, and it's like, oh, it's a new level of, it's here. It just hasn't manifested yet. And then it's just, okay, it's here. I can feel it. It's just when it's time, and trusting a process. And I know when I'm in the place that I'm feeling now, a lot of times I want to go and beat myself up, and I'm not doing that, but I want to, because that habit is still showing signs that it's still there, and keep changing the way I'm looking and doing things. So that's what I looked at as far as what's going on, is just doing some more deep inner work and finding what it is and finding peace. And yesterday I was half tempted to make cookies, and I chose not to. And I'm ready to make cookies and apple butter and do fun things, And it's like, well, no, I have to get this done. I have to get the drill sergeant's out there, doing its thing. And it's like, no, it's time to let the drill sergeant take a rest. It needs to go on vacation.
I feel that all right. I feel that all right. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat yourself up. At the end of the day, everything's done at the right time, and if it's meant to be, it will become. And that's one thing that we don't realize, is that everything will fall into place. Once you start falling into place, everything else will fall in divine order. And when we have divine order, we have divine growth, because God is an abundant God. He's never brought you on this earth to live starving, or to live unhappy, and to live in lack, or to live in negative financial ruins or something like that. So the more that you trust within yourself, because God's not outside of you, God's inside of you. And regardless, planets are going to be there. The energies are going to show up. Every part of you is going to experience this mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. As long as you have what it takes to get you past that next level when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to your growth, when it comes to your spiritual foundation, you will make it. And you have to be obedient to your word. You have to be obedient. I always say be obedient to God's word, and everything else will come when the right time is happening. And even things will come to you when you least expect it, when you didn't even like put any energy into something. God will give you things better than you could actually think, because we have pea brains. I always say, like, we have minimal brain capacity of what we can achieve compared to how God sees us. Because I'm doing a program called The Quantum Woman right now. And when I was going through this process the last 3 months, it was just last week, um, I said, what qualifies me? What qualifies me? And that's when I got like a whole sermon about what qualifies me to teach the quantum woman. And I just sat back and I was like, damn, I didn't even think about all that. It brought me down to when I was 13 years old and how I was teaching this already at 13 years old subconsciously. And I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. I didn't have remembrance of it. But see, when God qualifies you, that's why I say don't follow the flesh, follow the spirit. The spirit knows you better than the flesh. So when you start following the spirit and not getting so stuck in the flesh, you'll start to realize things about yourself and grow from that point on. So recognize who you are in the spirit. And sometimes our spirit needs to be cleaned out on a daily basis until we start really moving into something more powerful within ourselves. You go through a lot of ups and downs. Your body takes a hit. My body right now is taking a serious hit because I'm doing some deep, deep, deep inner work. That's why I have a fever coming up. That's why I have a headache coming up. That's why I have all these things happening to me right now, that every part of me is in pain, but every part of me needs attention. Every part of me needs nurturing. Every part of me needs compassion. I won't be able to hold on to that energy for my clients and my women if I don't take care of myself. So don't give from an empty cup because you feel obligated to give. That's just your own ego saying that. Don't overgive because you feel like, well, I just have to do this, because in your overgiving, you do have an intention as well. So do things because you want to do things, not because you feel obligated to do things. Do things because you're called to do things, not because you want something in return. When you give from your heart. You don't give because, oh, well, something may come back to me. So take that into 2025 and really recognize parts of you that are in that place of intention. Really, really look at yourself as a whole. Why do I do certain things? Do I do it because I want something in return, or do I do it because I want to see that person grow and develop and create and become? So there's just so much that you look within yourself that literally could change the trajectory from outside of you.
Well, I noticed that yesterday where I felt okay. My emotions are all over the place. So I realized that when I want to cry, that means something's ready to manifest because it's coming down into manifestation and it's hit that sixth level of consciousness, which is the emotions. And so it's like, well, Kath, you have to allow this emotion to express so that way you can push through whatever this is that's coming through forward. And I remember years and years ago, before I was in the school of metaphysics, we talked about that the seven levels of consciousness. When you create something, it goes up, goes out in the ethers, get all the pieces, and then it comes back, and then you can manifest whatever it is you're growing or doing or wanting. And I always stopped that process because I always wanted to cry, and I didn't want to cry because I was told I was a crybaby, so I didn't cry. And so I stopped the process. And when I was in the school of metaphysics, they said, no, you've got to cry. You've got to get those emotions out because you're stopping the flow of life. Like you're giving, but you're not receiving. I mean, you put it out there. Why are you saying stop? Because that's what you're doing. And that was a lesson I had to learn. And it was a very profound lesson because I have watched this over and over in my life. And I know that as cranky and grumpy as I've been lately, and Sal's the same way because we're both in this trying to get the basement done. We're dealing with, stressed out cats. We're stressed out, and we're just working on just, okay, We understand where we're at, and we're just starting to get like nice, like hold each other and love each other and be compassionate towards each other. And if my cats are all wigged out, I just sit there and I will put everything down and just give them all that attention because they're stressed too. Where it's everything's going to be shifting and changing. I already know that. It's just wanting it to be done and realizing it's like, why are my cats so stressed? I'm like, because we're finishing the crawl space. We sealed the crawl space off from them. Now we're rearranging the basement. I mean, we're just traumatizing the cats because cats don't like change. And this has been a safe place, and now it's not so safe in their mind because they're hearing it. And I'm thinking, but isn't that how you're feeling too? You're going into an unknown, and it's stressful when we go into the unknown. And that's why it's just keep breathing and ground the energy down and just trust the process and do what. And for me, it's like, okay, well, one of my favorite things is to cook and bake. So guess what? I'm going to start cooking and baking and just really start enjoying life because it's like what you said. Get my mind off of where my brain is at and come back into the heart of me. And at the same time, I am asking if there's something I need to see, let me see it. If I'm got a limiting belief out there that I don't know what it is, let me see it. I want to transform whatever this stuff is. And I'm getting, you're okay. You just need to breathe and relax and enjoy. That's all I keep hearing. And just trust the process.
Mm-hmm. I mean, no one likes change. That's the thing. Like, people get so tripped out with change, but can you grow just being in that same place? If you don't change, you'll never grow. And if you're never going to change, then why even put any work into it? Continue working your mundane 9 to 5 job, be miserable, be reactive in your emotions, have all this anger, and then start complaining about life because that's all you're going to be doing. But if you want to create change, you're creating a whole different environment within yourself that may feel foreign. But why don't you bless the changes that are coming into your life rather than not bless the changes that are coming into your life? And that's one thing is when you start blessing your life with change, what else can you be asking for? And that's growth. Blessing is just like gratitude. And that's one thing that people forget is to bring gratitude into life. You should be grateful for what you have even when you don't have it. I remember the days I used to cry. I didn't have money to even put food on my table. I was a year behind on my mortgage payment, but I talked to the bank and I said, I'm going to pay this. It's going to take me some time, but I'm going to pay this. And I remember the last payment on a year of being behind in my mortgage, and they said, Zach, this is your last one. I literally had the whole office celebrating with me. There was just so much happening. And the more that you are honest with yourself and the more that you're able to deal with your emotions and not be reactive in your emotions, but be proactive within your emotions, that's when you'll start growing and change doesn't become so scary. It becomes exciting. It's like having that inner child come out and play in an adult way. And the more you allow that inner child to come out to play in an adult way, the more you'll be able to receive.
And with that, we're going to go take a quick commercial break.
Feeling overwhelmed? Take a moment to reconnect with your inner peace. Join Kathleen Flanagan's powerful de-stress meditation designed to help you release tension, calm your mind, and restore balance. Just a few minutes can transform your day. Visit KathleenMFlanagan.com and start your journey to tranquility today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we have Zak Lioutas in the room with us today. And when you were talking, I lost part of my thought, but I do want to make a comment about realizing sometimes when we're in it and people just want to like pick at you and you're not speaking right or you're not this because they're insensitive. And I know that I've been looking at a lot of various things of how I respond to people sometimes and not wanting to be a certain way and learning to either calm my emotions down before I call or, if I start getting upset, I just do my best to apologize. But the one thing I don't do is push people's buttons and do passive aggressive things to people when they're in it, because I think that when you're looking for just compassion and understanding, there's not a lot of people that really understand how to do that, especially when, they view you a certain way. And it's like, well, it'll help you if you just learn to speak differently. And it's like, well, and you would get further in your life if you would stop you letting your limiting beliefs run it. I mean, it's like, you can go back and forth on a banter like that, but what's the point of doing that? My thing is just, okay, just love them, and hopefully they'll find their way. And if they need a little guidance or a push, be willing to do it. But like you were saying, that boundary issue, and where do you want to be and how do you want to stand in the coming year? And I know that I have a vision of who I want to become and how I want to be. And I'm very well aware that certain things that have happened in the last week is about me. Who are you and what do you stand for? And are you willing to fight for, who you think you are at this moment, and not in a negative way, but in a positive way, instead of being a doormat or letting people walk all over me like I used to in the old days. And now I'm speaking up, and I'm supposed to be going to an event in March, and she's asking for money. And I basically said, you know what? I'm pathetic right now. I'm going to tell you that right now, and it's all okay. But if you need to give those spots away, I mean, I will be there. I'm just not financially committing it to anything today because I can't. And it's like I'm establishing where it's at. I said that could change in 2 weeks for all I know. But today I cannot make a commitment because, when you get those sales pitches from people, it has to be now and there's only so many spots left. And I'm just like, I am so over that game of, and it's why? Because you're the one that thinks you're out of money, so you have to do that. I don't know. But it's like I'm finding that a lot with people right now, that there's an angst in people, that they're afraid. There's a lot of lack and fear running around right now. There's a lot of holding back and withdrawing, and instead I'm jumping forward in my life. And even if I have the money or not, I'm jumping forward because I believe in me, and everybody else is holding themselves back. And it's like, but that defeats the purpose. So yeah, so am I out on the skinny branches? Am I scared to move forward a little bit? I'm not scared. I'm apprehensive a little bit. But you know what? All it does is if I'm standing between two worlds, I need to trust that. I need to trust I've always been taken care of. If I look at the evidence of my life, yeah, I've had ups and downs, but I've always been provided for. I've always had a roof. I've always had food. I've always had people around me to take care of me if I needed. When I thought I was homeless, my business partner let me stay in his house for a couple of weeks. I was never abandoned. And I think that's one thing people need to understand and realize. And it's just a deeper level for me right now in these interesting times that we're living in. And it's only going to keep getting more interesting because the energy's coming in. And we have to adjust to that energy.
The whole world's sensitive, and people need to start strengthening their shit up, straight up. Because you can't live in a world. If you want to be a warrior of the world, you can't be no sensitive human of the world. If you're going to come to me and I'm going to say something to you and you get all bent out of shape because you've taken it personal, then that's your problem, not a me problem. I don't have time to play with weak-minded human beings. I don't allow everyone in my program. I go through an interview process, and it's a yay or a nay. And if you don't want to get it right there and then, guess what? I don't care. I will give up your spot, or I'll raise the price. So it doesn't bother me. I don't have these old sales pitch techniques. If you don't buy that today, I'm never going to have this program again. Bullshit. You're just lying. Stop lying. Right? I don't have time for this. I really don't have time. And that's why I don't have coaches like that. That's why I'm not that person. If it's meant to be, it will become. Maybe I need 3 days to think about it. Great. Go and have 3 days. Think about it. Come back. Because maybe I don't even want you after 3 days. Maybe I've seen something inside of you that you're not fit for my program. Because after those 3 days, you're going to have a meeting with me again to see, do I really want to qualify you to bring you in right now? So I have qualifying questions. Not everyone comes into my program. I don't want everyone into my program. I am very picky with who I bring into my stuff because I don't care about your money. Yes, money is great. Money brings convenience to the world, but God will always take care of me financially. So I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing your success story more than anything. And the more that I chase success stories, the more empowered I feel. The more I chase money, the less empowered I feel because now I'm chasing the flesh while I'm in the spirit. You can't be in two places at once. You're either with the spirit or you're with the flesh. And that's the whole thing. So the world needs to, grow some really strong kahunas and stop playing the sensitive game with themselves and start becoming warriors. Because if you're never going to become a warrior and sit here like, oh, so and so said this and it really hurts, well, you know what? Fix what's hurting inside of you. Fix what's hurting inside of you and stop taking this damn crap personal. And yes, I can be that tough with my clients, but I'm also there with my clients when I have them out on the field doing their work and I'm watching them and I'm observing them and I'm saying, hey, do this a little different. Hey, say this a little differently. Because I'm a hands-on business coach. I'm all about bringing it to alignment. I don't play and I'm not inexpensive and I'm fine with that. And I actually am pretty inexpensive considering what you're getting, but not everyone's allowed into my group. And I made that point very straight. And I have very limited to who I give my energy to in my group because my group, I call them my children. I want to see them grow. I want to see them evolve. I want to see them making 5 and 6 figures a month because I know they can do this. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've seen it. I've lived it. I grew through it. I was broke and I came back making 150 G's. So I don't chase money. I chase results. I chase stories. I chase what do they call it? The underdog woman, the woman that feel like they don't have that strength to go, the woman that people always picked on, the woman that felt like she wasn't good enough. Those are my people because I give them my eyes and tell them, I'm getting goosebumps saying this to you. I give them my eyes and I say, don't listen to what anyone said. What I see is this inside of you. And then go with what I'm telling you. I have people crying on me. I have people literally snot all over me. I can't believe you see this. I've never seen this. And I said, that's why you're in the group. That's why you're in the group, because I saw something special in you. I know you're going to come into my group and you're going to sit there and complain. I don't want your money. I don't want you even in my group, period. Period. Your energy, your vibe is just toxic. So fix yourself before you come to me. And I say that, and I say that with an open heart, and I say that with so much compassion. You might think, "Oh, she's so rude. She's so mean." No, I'm not rude. I could actually heard someone say rude right now as I'm saying this. No, I'm not rude. I'm just honest. And if my honesty means that it's rude, then you got to fix something inside of you. That's the thing. No one could handle the truth these days. No one could handle the truth. And the problem is Jesus is the way, the light, and the truth. I follow Jesus. I don't follow any of the earth realm. If I follow the earth realm, I would never get up. I'd be depressed all my life. I follow something that's going to give me eternal life, eternal love, compassion, guidance, protection, because God is an abundant God. So understand that if you think I'm rude, number one, you're taking it personal. I wasn't talking to you. That's your problem there. So stop taking everything personal and start growing some kahunas and raise your vibrational frequency and stop thinking the world is against you because you're against your own self. And if you're going to get over that, you're going to suffer in 2025 and for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's when, woof, I can't even get into that because that I don't even want to touch 2026, 27, 28, 29, what's going to happen. Do I know what's going to happen? They gave me a hint. Am I going to sit here and talk about it? No, it's not. It's no one's issues what's going to happen because you can't even stay focused on today. I'm going to bring you now into 5 years into the future. No, thank you. Fix yourself today. Make yourself better tomorrow.
Well, and I think, we still control our future. I mean, just because Spirit gave you what could be in the next 5 years, it can be for that person, but maybe for you, because you're doing something and you're helping people and supporting people, that's not going to be your world. It's all about perception. That's how I look at it. And I've always felt that because when 2020 hit, I knew when 2020 hit, I had known about 2020 my whole life. And I was terrified of it. And I said, I'm not going to live through this and you're not going to make me and I'm not going to buy into this. Well, I ended up living through it. I didn't buy into it. I mean, I still call it the plandemic because that's what it was. But there was such a beautiful message that came out on the other side. And it was the beginning of the wake-up call of us coming back into our humanity. because people started coming together. They were getting off their phones and everything was Zoom and all this kind of stuff. And that's what we're going back into that. That's what I see you saying. That's where I'm at, is that I'm helping you because you need help and you want help, and I have answers for you. It's not I can help you, give me your money, and then you walk off and never help that person, because there's a lot of people out there that'll charge all this money and then never even help you, or they overwhelm you in such a way that you can't even see through it because it's too much, when you need like a little tender loving care and a little guidance and a little one-on-one. And that's not part of the program, but yet you gave $30,000 for a program and it's all video.
Okay, so I'm going to say this to you because this came as you're speaking.
Okay.
Do you think it's overwhelmed, or do you think maybe your body can't handle what God has for you? Because that could feel overwhelmed. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, instead of being all frantic about feeling overwhelmed, and take a step back and breathe through it and say, well, I'm really confused here. How do I break this down into bite-sized pieces so that I could understand what's happening inside of me? Because if they're bringing this out and it's causing this, maybe my body can't handle this.
That's a very good point. I never even thought of looking at it that way. And it makes sense, because I can see that with me, where things were coming in so fast that I didn't know even how to handle it. And yet it was still good. It worked. I mean, it's still there. It's like when I was able to manage it, I could start doing it, but there was still so much more. But yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. I never even thought of it that way, but it's very true.
Because our bodies are full of toxic waste. Look at the food we're eating. Really be mindful of what you're putting in your body. I mean, they have, what's this 3D photocopy meat that they're eating now? The Gaysters coming up with a peel, which is fake food. Like, read your labels. Go to your farm. Get to know your butcher. People think I'm nuts. I drive 2 hours almost to get food to the farm. I drive to get and people think, oh my God, Zak, you go to that extreme? I'm like, yeah, damn right I do. You don't know what you're eating in a I go into a grocery store, my body like convulses, like, oh God, what's in here? Like, I can't even walk into a grocery store without my body convulsing. I don't even know what I'm eating. I'm constantly looking at labels. What's the 4 represent? What's the 3 represent? What's the 9 represent? Like, you need to know these things, because every part of you is going to literally feel that. And yes, pray on your food, and prayer helps. But what helps more is that you know what you're feeding your body. What are you feeding your body? So that's all stuff that maybe is coming up because you need to take a deeper look within yourself. And that's where I'm at. Like, I had to take deeper looks within myself when my body started breaking down, or when overwhelmed happened. I'm like, God, I see it, but I can't fully grasp onto it. And that's when I heard, your body can't even handle the energy that we're giving you right now. I said, oh, I know. I could feel my body's in pain. I've never felt this much pain. But because of the work that I did for the last 10 years and the energies that I had to deal with, it was dark. I was dealing with depression for 10 years. I was dealing with women going through some serious suffering, and then coming out of that and then starting their businesses and going through this. But I got a beating for 10 years. And I'm tired of the beating. So now I got to take care of the body that went through the beating in order to be able to hold the energy that's coming for the next segment of my life and what I'm doing for the next 10 to 15 years. Because it's all comes in different phases. So instead of pointing fingers and blaming everyone else, like Michael Jackson says, and I say this all the time, look at the person in the mirror. If that person pissed you off, why did that person piss me off? If this feels overwhelming to me, why does it feel overwhelming to me? Ask yourself, your higher self, those questions. And don't look at what you've spent. Don't look at that. Look at the work that I give. I could give you work that to me doesn't feel overwhelming, but to you may feel overwhelming because you have a lot of burdens you're still holding on to from the past. And in those burdens that you're holding on to the past, it could really take a huge role in your body. And that's one thing I say, okay, where is this triggering you in your body? What's coming up for you? And that's why the program I'm doing, I don't even talk about business until the 3rd month. It's all mindset and personal development. It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual maturity, right? It's how we're going to grow. It's how we're going to evolve. If you can't hold on to energies right now, because they're going to get stronger, they're going to get way stronger. And the more that you're allowing yourself to grow and evolve, the more that you're giving yourself permission to go within yourself, the more you get off of this thing, right? And try to fit in with everyone else. You're not meant to fit in, you're meant to stand out. When you see yourself the way the creator made you, you see yourself differently. You don't see yourself like the flesh out there. People say, "Oh, did you hear about so and so?" And I'm like, I don't belong to that world. I'm like, what do you mean you don't belong to the world? My government's God's government, not this government that runs you guys. And they'll just look at me like, did she just say what we think she said? Yeah, you heard me correctly. See, this is the thing. I don't get involved in the flesh anymore. 2020 taught me to get rid of toxic virus people in my life. That's what that taught me. There's a virus out there. Yeah, there's a virus in my neighborhood too. My neighborhood is called my auric field. Who do I need to get rid of? We all knew that something was going to happen if you were spiritually awakened. They were telling us for a very, very long time. However, how you took that's a whole different game. Did I think it awakened the world? No, I think it actually created more separation in the world. I think the world's slowly starting to wake up now, 5 years later. Do you still wash your hands 1,000 times? Do you see the grocery store? Are they washing the windows and the handles? No, everything went out the door. So that was a bunch of, manipulative ways to get to your why? Because the devil loves to control your mind. God controls your heart. And that's one thing that you got to look at. Get out of your head and step into your heart.
What I was going to say earlier, as you were talking, as I look in my studio and I was looking for something, and I've pulled all sorts of stuff out of my past, my whole life, practically is in boxes of paperworks of things I started, of projects, of things I've studied, that kind of thing. And it's like, it's time to let all this go. And at the same time, I looked at, oh my God, look at all that I have done in my life so far. That there's so much stuff that of paths I went down, and you keep it thinking you're gonna do it, and it's like, no, those days, that's the past. Those days are gone, and that's kind of what Sal and I are doing in the basement. But it's like, I have to do my office, I have to do my studio, closets, all of it, and going through all this massive paperwork. And in 2017, I used some of this stuff to create some of the programs that I did. But a lot of this now, I don't need this anymore. This isn't where I'm going. This is what I needed to start with, to find that validation for myself, like what makes you credible, what makes me say I'm allowed to be this person. And I needed that in 2017. I don't need that today, because I already know who I am and why I'm doing it. And yes, I do have the authority to do what I'm doing and to lead the way that I'm leading. So I just, that's another thing is, it's another way that's holding and weighing us down too. And when we go through our closets and we throw away paperwork and we throw away things that you've had since you were 12 years old, get rid of it. Have you looked at it? Have you seen it? No, because you're attaching meaning to something that had no meaning. It's just you're trying to find the meaning in your life. And that's kind of how I looked at it. Because I remember I did a massive purge. I think around 2000, I did a massive purge where I threw all my high school stuff away, that, the yearbooks and all that kind of crap. I threw so much stuff away in 2000. And now it's like, it's time to throw the next layer of crap away from 2000 to 25 years later. It's time to dump that, because if I need to hold this energy, this isn't allowing me to hold the energy. So I agree with food. That's why Sal and we have 3 grow tents, and one of them's hydroponics that they got set up this weekend. That's another reason why the cats are stressed, is because, we're growing our own food at the same time. So we know what we're eating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing my basement, but you know what? I'm eating healthier because of it. And we have so many seeds. And we're really excited about starting this growing process. And, we still want to do the bees, and we still think about getting chickens and all of that. Even though we're not in a farm, we can do that here. But the whole point is that I'm like you. I want to know what I'm eating. I want to, because there's so much toxicity out there. And And how many people are saying, an avocado and it doesn't turn black, or it's rubber, or you know what I mean? People are describing what foods are like these days. And it's sad. And we're not awake enough to realize that they are poisoning us. And we need to take responsibility. And that's the bottom line, is we have to take responsibilities for what we think, how we feel, how we eat. And if you're mad that somebody's doing something, that's your crap. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I love that one. When I discovered that that's a you problem and not a me problem, oh, game changer in my life. So, Zak, how can people get a hold of you and learn more about the program that you are bringing to the world?
You could find me on Instagram at Spiritual Hustler. That's spiritual, HSTLR. The program will be released in mid-February. I'm just going through it right now. If you are a Jesus-loving woman, it's only open to women, and you want to strengthen your relationship with Jesus and use scripture to build your life and your business, that's what it's really all about. I'm going to use scripture. I've used scripture for many years in my life. I was a closet Bible lover at one point because I didn't want people to know where I got my strength and my gifts from. But now I'm just ready just to let her all out and just say, this is what I do. This is who I am. You can't handle it. The door is right there. So that's why I'm very picky with who I have in my program. So you have to go through an interview process. And again, you could find me on Instagram at Spiritual Hustler. That's HSTLR.
Well, thank you, Zak. I appreciate you coming on. I know you don't feel well, and it was still a good, beautiful program and lots of good stuff to be taken away from. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the year and the holiday season. And I look forward to seeing you next month on the show.
Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And if you found value here, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel and send the link to your friends and family. If you're struggling with anything that we talked about or would like to get more information on how I can support you in becoming your authentic self, you can reach out to me at bravetv at KathleenMFlanagan.com. And you can get a hold of Zak through Spiritual Hustler on Instagram. I'm sure she will be more than happy to help you and assist you and get more information on the program she's coming out with. My books, Dancing Souls, The Call, The Dark Night of the Soul, and Awakened, are available on Amazon.com and KathleenMFlanagan.com. And go and visit KathleenMFlanagan.com for the list of services and products that I offer. And I do have the 3-minute de-stress meditation that is available with no email required. It's my gift to you. And I wish all of you a very happy and joyous holiday season. I hope you have a fabulous 2025, because it's going to be a year of change. So hang on to your hat. I think it's going to be a great year on many levels. It might be challenging at times, but I think it's going to be a great year. And this concludes my show for the rest of the year. And I will be back the first Tuesday in January. So from my heart to yours, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your year. Happy holidays, everyone.